this is Sunny D coming at you. I'm here on the ECWF podcast, and you need to check it out with Sean. Is my main man.
Get the F out.
Alright, welcome to episode number 22 of the ECWF podcast. We will not get the F out, we put the F back in. I'm your host, Sean Bickey, coming to you from the Honda Civic Studio in the Electric City, Scranton, Pennsylvania. And on this episode, my guest was Sunni Daze, the first female guest, the official ECWF Women's Champion now. Yeah, that's right, it's my podcast, I could do that. And in this episode, we talk everything from gaming, she's an Xbox girl, by the way, getting into wrestling through ring announcing, and that's how she started training. Very, very tough, something I wouldn't be able to do the way she trained. We talk about Al Snow, working for the NWA, Marty Jannetty getting touchy-feely, her hilarious Piper Palooza video, you guys gotta check that out on Facebook. We talk about China, and much, much more. So enjoy. Alright, back on the podcast here with Sunni Daze from
Hello.
Washington, not Arkansas.
No, I am originally from Poverty, Arkansas, but I decided to grace the lovely Pacific Northwest with my presence, and I've been here ever since.
You said Poverty?
Poverty.
That's the,
it's over by Jonesboro.
That's the real name of it? Okay. I thought that was just like a gimmick name.
That is a gimmick name,
oh,
yes.
Okay.
I had you there for a minute,
you
didn't I?
You did.
Of course it's a gimmick name.
I mean...
at the time I was living in Pocahontas, Arkansas, and I was traveling up to Newport, Arkansas to do my training every week. I'd go up there twice a week, once to do a show. And, well, technically I wouldn't be in the show, but I was there because, there's a lot that goes into psychology of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And then once to do actual training where I generally had a concussion for 3 months.
Oh, boy.
That was lovely. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I want to
Training is no joke.
Yeah, definitely. I want to get into all your story and your background and all that stuff, but first, I want to congratulate you because you were my first female guest on my podcast.
Really?
Yes.
Yay!
This is episode 22, and I was supposed to have a couple girls on before, but for whatever reason they fell through, so you are officially the first female.
Woohoo!
So I guess that would make you the official ECWF Women's Champion. You could, so.
Well, all right.
All right. I was listening to a previous podcast that you did maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and during the podcast, you were like in the middle of playing SmackDown vs. Raw. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so do you consider yourself a gamer?
I am a gamer.
Nice.
I like video games. I always have. I like SmackDown vs. Raw. I haven't gotten to play the brand new one that come out yet, but it is in my future, definitely.
Okay. So when you're playing the video games, are you just the girls, or you're deep all in it?
Oh no, I'm everybody.
Yeah.
I think the last time I played that, I was Andre the Giant.
Nice. Okay.
Just because. Oh yeah, that's right. I bought Legends, and one of my favorites to play is Ricky Steamboat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So, are you playing anything besides wrestling games?
Oh, yeah. I'm a big BioShock fan.
Oh, my God. Okay.
I originally bought BioShock 2 first, and almost finished it, and then bought BioShock 1. So I didn't finish BioShock 2, and I started BioShock 1. So I finished that, and then almost got done with BioShock 2 again, and then I was at GameStop, and I found a prequel to BioShock 1 and 2. So I bought that, and I'm like, it's BioShock Infinity is what it's called, and I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but yeah, I do like the video games.
That's cool.
If I have a bad day, I like to shoot zombies. Left 4 Dead, good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So is it PlayStation girl or Xbox girl?
I am an Xbox girl.
Yes. Awesome.
Yes. Give me a Kinect and an Xbox, and I am good to go.
Awesome. All right. I want to... we have to talk wrestling, unfortunately. This is a wrestling podcast. I could talk games.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I could talk games all day, though. But I was listening to that previous podcast I mentioned before, and you mentioned that your name, Sunny Daze, came from a Sesame Street song?
Yeah, actually, I had come home from training, and the guys were all talking about how they came up with their gimmicks and how they came up with their attitude. Because we've all been, I was personally told that your gimmick should be a piece of you, but enhanced by like 25 times, no matter what it is. Which is why Eddie Guerrero was so great at his gimmick, and Owen Hart was such an awesome wrestler, because whether he was a face or he was heel most of the time, and he was such a good bad guy, and I still loved it. One day I was sitting, I was flipping through the channels, and Sesame Street came on, and I said, okay. And I sat there and I listened to the music, and I'm like, Sunny Daze. Huh. Everybody likes Sunny Daze. What, man, I could go get my shine on. What else could I do with that? And I thought, Sunny Daze, that's a name. And so I did a little research, and I read all the stuff I could on the valet Sunni, and I really worried about whether or not people were going to take me seriously because of my name, due to wrestling history, we'll just say. But and I just kept thinking about it, and I thought to myself, nobody can make my name bad unless it's me. So why don't we give this a go? And it stuck. Because I always thought of Sunny Daze as this pop of light that if you piss her off, you better watch it, because she's like the TNT stick. She's going to go off.
Right.
And, you better watch it, because the explosion's pretty big, and, like a fire. So, yeah.
Nice.
That's me, Sunny D.
Okay, because you mentioned history, and when I first heard Sunny Daze, I instantly thought of the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels promo, where he was
Which one?
Where Shawn Michaels was kind of throwing stones at him, trying to insinuate something, and he said to Bret Hart, "You had a couple Sunny days."
Oh, to Sunny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I watched that one, and I'm like, oh, that's so bad, man.
Yeah,
I hope.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just got to make sure that nobody calls me Sunny, and everybody calls me Sunny Daze.
Right.
It's all just one word.
But
and keep it that way.
You spell it Sunni, right?
Daze. Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to spell it completely different,
right.
And it is all one word. Sunny Daze.
Okay.
So that way it's different than Sunny. No offense, Sunny. I mean, you've done well with whatever it is that you're doing. I would just like to make my own name instead.
Exactly. Have you ever met her?
No, have not.
Okay.
But much respect to the world. Much respect. She was one of the originators of the thong on television.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Yeah. Yeah, she was like one of the first ones to, first females to get noticed, kind of.
Yeah, she was one of the first females to pretty much get noticed as a valet or a manager, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make a name for myself,
Right,
and
right.
I wasn't even thinking of the girl Sunni when Sunny Daze came as a character.
Okay. So, obviously, growing up, you're a wrestling fan, right?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I used to get in trouble for staying up too late to watch ECW.
Oh, okay, yeah, because it was always on like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, like weird times, right?
Yeah, well, at the time, it would come on Monday night at 11 o'clock at night. I think it was like 11:30.
Oh, wow.
Because at the time, we didn't even have regular cable. We just had a satellite dish.
Yeah.
And I could watch it on there, but it was on Monday night at 11 o'clock, and I wasn't supposed to be up. So at the time, the television was on one side of the living room, and the computer was on the other side of the living room, and there was a couch right in the middle of it. So if I could sneak around to turn the volume off on the television, or at least catch the remote. So I got really good at putting the remote on the armrest of the couch.
Yeah, you're on
so that way,
yeah.
when Mom was on the computer, she didn't really notice until one night when she was like, "Get the hell back to bed! You're grounded!" And there have been many weekends where I spent grounded because I was watching wrestling. So yes, I'm a longtime fan. Sabu was my favorite growing up.
Oh my gosh, yes.
One of my favorite hardcore matches involved the announcer and oh cripes, what's her name? I always space on her name. But she was in ECW, and she had this awesome match with a guy, and
Beulah.
Beulah, thank you. Yeah,
and
that was a great match.
And Fonzie, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
That was a fucking rad match, and for me, that was the first time I ever thought, just because I'm a girl doesn't mean I can't be hardcore.
Right.
I want to be hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I just loved it.
Yeah.
I never thought that I was going to grow up and do it, but once I got the opportunity to do it, man, I'm still running with it.
Yeah, now, did you play any other sports, like in school or anything, growing up?
No, I was terrible at sports.
Really?
I was terrible at sports. My mother actually told me that I was not allowed to join the wrestling team because I was a girl.
Aww.
And I was not allowed to join the football team because I was a girl. But that did not stop me from playing two-hand touch with the boys outside after school.
Right. Okay. So mom didn't like you watching it or even participating in it or anything like that?
No, not really. I mean, it seemed like that, but not really. It wasn't a big thing. Like, how dare you wrestling? It was more of, you need to be careful. You can do something else that's more girly. And I'm like, I don't want to do girly things. Well, so what? I'm a girl, big deal. But I want to go play football. No, I want to go to wrestling shows.
Right.
So when I grew up, my husband was actually friends with a couple wrestlers in Arkansas, and what was his name? Oh, Idle Bane and Cody Daniels. And his friend called him that night and said, "Hey, do you want to come to a wrestling show?" He was like, "Yeah, sure. Where's that?" And he said, "Well, it's at the carnival downtown at the fairgrounds." And that night, my husband started doing announcing because him and I we play wrestling video games all the time. We've been major fans for a long time, and he was adamant about wanting to do it, so he did announcing for wrestling for almost I want to say a good 10 years before I did. He was in the announcing for quite a long time before I even thought about wrestling. I was too busy thinking about other things like
Yeah.
college. Well, yeah, I went to college and everything at the time.
Okay.
But yeah.
What'd you go to school for?
I went to school. I got my associate's in business administration.
Oh, okay.
I majored in accounting, and I took a couple courses on business ethics, advertisement, and marketing.
So you're a smart cookie.
I am. I like it too. It's served me well over the years.
Cool.
Definitely.
So, I mean, what ultimately led you to, like, getting in the ring if you have, like, a college degree and everything? Why didn't you go that route instead?
What makes you think I'm not on my path still?
Oh, well.
Maybe someday I'll own my own federation in my own building, and I'll have my own special trainers who will come in and do seminars. Maybe that's the end goal.
Okay.
Maybe.
So there's possibly a plan in place for
there is a
thing.
Plan in place. I have lots of things that are cooking right now, and I am just doing my best to, figure things out. I recently started going to school and I got my certification for personal training, dietary and nutrition. I am actually thinking about maybe doing a couple courses in neuromuscular physical therapy.
Okay, my mother did that for 14 years. She's a physical therapist.
Yeah, physical therapist?
Yeah,
oh, yeah. I mean, have you ever seen an x-ray of a wrestler's bones? I mean, seriously.
Probably scary, I can imagine.
We are all screwed up.
Yeah.
Top to bottom. I don't care who you are. Wrestling is not fake. It hurts, and I have the injuries to prove it.
Right, definitely. You mentioned your husband kind of got you started a little bit.
I did. Yeah, he was working with this company called WFAC. It was a company that was mainly based on doing donation shows, benefits. WFAC actually stand for Wrestling for a Cause, and it was a different cause. So they would have a wrestling show every single week, raising money for people who needed it, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And I would come and I would heckle the boys, and I would be loud, and I would tell them that they suck and that they need to wrestle better and they need to, chop one more time. And one day during intermission, Austin Lane comes up to me and he says, "I really like your voice, and I think that you would be a good in-ring announcer." And I said, "Oh, okay. Thank you."
Wait, then was your husband already?
Would you?
Your husband
Yeah,
was already,
he was doing announcing. He was doing color commentary, is what he was doing.
I was going to say, you're going to take your husband's job?
At the time, they had a heel-face commentary at the time.
Okay.
Because they were doing weekly TV tapings for the local channel.
Okay.
In Newport, in Newport, Arkansas. And he, but anyways, Austin comes up to me and he tells me that, and I'm like, "Well, thanks." And he says, "Would you be willing to do in-ring announcing? I think you would be really good at it." And I said, "Maybe. I don't know. Am I going to get hurt?" And he goes, "Well, that's just the thing. You might want to come to training a couple times so that way I can help you learn how to keep yourself safe." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Okay." So I came to training and I bashed my head quite a few times. And that first week, I remember not being able to see straight because I hit my head so badly on a back bump. But the second week, it was just as bad. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, and he's looking at me and he goes, "You're either going to do this or you're not. You either are going to rise above your pain and you're going to keep coming back and you're going to keep improving, or you're going to stay where you're at right now. It's one or the other. Mm-hmm. This may be too hard for you. Maybe you're just not it. Maybe you're just not the kind of person I need." Is what he said. That was the end of training. Okay, that was the end of training. My second week. So my third week, I come back, and he's got two other guys there that are also brand new trainees, and he says, take a bump in the ring. Take a back bump right in the middle of the ring. Okay, you take a back bump right there, right in the middle of the ring. And that third week, I didn't even wait for him to tell me to take a bump. I just took the bump.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh. And he said, do it again. And I did it again. And he said, do it again. And I said, what am I doing wrong? And he said, tuck the chin more. And I did it again. And he says, do it again. And I did it again. and we kept doing this. Yeah, I mean, he kept doing it. He was like, look, if there's anything you need to know how to do, it's you need to know how to protect yourself when you hit that ring. So do it again. And I just kept doing it. And at the end of training, which was, I think, like 3 or 4 hours long, it was a long day, he comes up to me and he goes, I don't know what happened. I don't know what made you decide to just go for it, but I'm glad you did. And I'd like for you to come back next week. And I said, okay, I'll see you next week. What time? And he told me what time, and I came back next week. And that week was another week and another week. And he looked at me, I think it was 3 months down the road, and he says, well, your in-ring announcing training is done. And I said, okay. And he goes, now I have a question for you. Do you want to just be an in-ring announcer, or do you just want to go for it and be a wrestler? And I didn't think twice about it. I said, make me a fucking wrestler. and those 3 months turned into 6 months, and then those 6 months turned into 9 months, and then that 9 months turned into a year. And him and I and Nikki Lane, she was my very first opponent for quite a few times. In fact, we did the entire circuit, her and I, and I, every time, it was great. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. And then after that was done, after a year, I found out my mom was sick, and she had been diagnosed with cancer of the throat. So I took that next couple of months to get all my affairs in order for me to move up here in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And I I went to look for another place to go train, and ran into a guy named Bob. He worked for a company called BAW in McMinnville, Oregon, which was a good 3.5 hour drive for me, which is really not that big of a deal. But anyways,
yeah.
So he was like, okay, well, let's get you into training. And that first day of training, there's Molly Holly and Daphne, and I'm sitting here I have this shit-eating grin on my face, and all I can think is in my head is, don't mark out, don't fucking mark out, don't mark out, don't do it, don't mark out, don't do it. So yeah, I had to take a little quick break to have a baby, and then after that, I started training with some of the boys up here in Washington, and they started helping me hone my abilities and fixing my bumps and making sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and showing me the ropes and telling me I suck when I suck, and giving me a good nod when I'm doing things better than not sucking. So yeah, okay. It's been a good ride.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. There's something about wrestling. I just, it gets in your bones, and and then you fuck them up.
Nice. So how long has it been now?
Altogether, I've loved wrestling my whole life, but altogether, I've been in the business for about 10 to 11 years.
Okay.
I don't see myself as a vet, if you say so. I kind of just see myself as more of a person that wants to learn.
Yeah.
Because you can always learn more. Your dues are never done, and you're never done learning.
Absolutely. Now I want to bring it back just a little bit because you touched on a bunch of things there. At first, before they asked you to ring announce, weren't you like taking pictures or something ringside?
Oh my gosh, yeah! I was selling the pictures to the boys in the back, because I had this awesome camera that took action shots. So my favorite shots for photography, because my father did photography for most of his life, so he taught me a lot. And I would just take pictures of the boys during their matches, and then just give it to them.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
that's what I would do while the husband was announcing.
Nice. Okay, and then, so initially, like, you just went to training school thinking, like, you're going to be an announcer, though, right?
Yeah,
and then,
originally, yeah.
Yeah, and then,
I did.
Like, did you think that, well, because you said, am I going to get hurt, but what put it in your head that you needed to train for, like, taking bumps and stuff as an announcer?
So, I actually asked my trainer that, and he says, okay, I'll show you. And I'm like, okay. He gets up into the ring, and he says to me, come here. So I get in the ring, and he says, lay down in the middle of the ring. So I did. No big deal. He then stands over me and points his 2 pointer fingers in my face, and he says, stay still. Don't move. And I said, what the hell are you going to do to me? And he says, I'm not doing anything to you. Just stay here. Mm-hmm. Just stay put. I'm like, okay, no big deal. So my trainers were big boys. We're talking 6'2", 6'3", and we're gonna say we're gonna say 6'2", 6'3". They're big boys, in shape, and so 4 of them get into each corner, and after he's done telling me not to move, he says, you can close your eyes if you want to. You don't have to. Just don't move. And these 4 other boys proceed to get on the top of the turnbuckles and hit me with something off of the top turnbuckle, one right after the other.
Oh, man.
So I learned very early that, in fact, I learned before training that you have to there's a lot of stuff that you have to learn, not just to keep yourself safe, but to keep your partner safe. Yeah, we're wrestling. Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, it's acrobatic, but there is a sincere danger if you don't know what you're doing. Right. And that's exactly what he told me.
Oh, okay. So when we're training, like first getting into training stuff, were you still in school at that point too?
Was I in school? No.
Oh, okay.
No. I was out of school.
Okay.
In fact, I was in college.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was, okay. All right, so you mentioned Molly, Holly, and Daphne. Were they just there, or were they trainers at the time?
They were there in the ring. They were there with like Rage Warrington and Wade Hess and a couple of other guys that run the circuit around here. Wade Warrington he's not even here. I think the last place I heard him at was Texas, but I'm not sure. I haven't followed him. I kind of had other things on my mind. But when I saw Daphne on TNA, I was like, yeah, I saw her in person. So, yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, she's one of my favorites, even going back even before like her WCW stuff. Like,
yeah.
Everything about her. I was such a huge fan.
Daphne did a lingerie match. I can't remember who she did it with, but her face throughout the entire match was absolutely priceless. I could not stop laughing because she looked so done. I cannot believe I'm doing this shit. It was one of the best. Funniest matches I've seen in a long time.
That's great.
That was cool.
Okay, so when you were training and everything, you said, you mentioned training with guys also. Now, was there other girls, or that you were mixing up the whole time?
There were quite a few girls that, I've been mixing it up with for a while. Lila Lodge was one for a while up here. She was my partner. She did not train me, for the record. She trained with me.
Okay.
Again, with me. Just to put those rumors at bay.
Okay.
Another one is Annie Wraith. She's up here, and she was on I think it was SmackDown as one of the Rosebuds. Jamaica Taylor, same thing. She was a Rosebud as well.
Yes.
Down in the South, I worked with Nikki Lane for most of the part. Mary Jane Payne up here. I've had a match with Bambi Hall. In fact, Bambi, I want a rematch just cause. And let's see, who else? Malaya Hosaka whooped my ass quite a few times at TCW. Her and I worked on a company together called Girls Gone Wrestling. You can check them out, girlsgonewrestling.com.
What a great name.
Yeah. Oh, man. Great company, too.
Yeah.
Chelsea Green was on there as well. Bambi Hall, like I said. A couple other awesome ones. A lovely, beautiful, muscular lady from Monster Wrestling. And I hope to kick her ass someday, too, which seemed like a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I've met so many great ladies in wrestling that, I mean, I feel blessed and fortunate to have them kick my ass, or
right.
other way around, whichever.
Right.
Now,
when you were mixing up with guys though in your training, were they harder or easier on you because you being a girl?
They were hard on me.
Really?
All my trainers were guys.
Okay.
Except for Nikki. Nikki was more of a partner that trained with me, but she knew a lot more than I did.
Right.
But they were always guys.
Just trying to break you down because you're.
Austin would always tell me, if you're not snug, if you don't hit like a guy, then they're not going to have any respect for you. So, I mean, if there's any time where I, quote unquote, stiff somebody, it's not on purpose ever, but because I've had somebody say that I like to shoot in the ring, and for the record, I don't shoot in the ring. I give receipts.
So if someone does it to you first.
That's right.
Gotcha.
You want to be like that with me? I will give you a receipt. But as for starting things, no.
Wait, do you think maybe that's because you got that reputation, though? It follows you around of you being stiff, so they feel that they have to be to you first?
I don't know. I've only had a couple girls tell me that I was stiff, but honestly, I think they took it out of context. Wrestling's wrestling. If I get a stiff hold for a minute, I'm sorry. Tell me to loosen up.
Right.
Jeez, I'm not going to... Okay, here's how I look at it. If I'm in the ring with you, and we're in a ring with, anywhere from 20 people to 1,000, if you're a fan, would you rather me fake it, or would you rather me make it look as real as I possibly can?
Right, exactly. You want it to be legit, or look legit.
I hate to say it, but I believe in strong style wrestling, not high flying as fast as I can get as many moves in as possible wrestling. Okay. Let's tell a story, people.
Right.
I guess that's because I was taught that way. Every person that I've talked to about wrestling, every show that I go to, I'm constantly talking to old school wrestlers, new school wrestlers, and the one thing that stays the same is that when you're in a match, there are two ways to do that match. One, you can have a match that doesn't look good because you're too busy trying to get in as many moves as possible, or B, have a match that looks like you're struggling a little bit because, well, obviously that person's not trying to get in as many moves and is actually trying to win the match.
Right. So, I mean, Go ahead.
I don't know. My trainers were they were all about, if it doesn't look real, then it looks like crap. If your move looks bad, then guess what? You look bad.
Right.
If you look bad, the other person in the ring with you looks bad.
So I don't want to call you like old school in that sense, but I mean going back to like even like 90s like female wrestling, like your Litas, your Trishas, people like that. Like,
oh man.
As opposed to, well, now it's picking back up, but I mean maybe early 2000s, like women's wrestling, especially WWE, like it was kind of pillow fights and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't talk to me about pillow fights. Let's talk more of an actual match that.
Right.
I've noticed now it's really on the rise of intergender matches. There's a lot more of them. I don't feel so alone anymore.
Right.
Being as sometimes when I go to a Fed around here, I feel like a charity case because there's nobody to wrestle that's a girl.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's almost out of necessity that girls have to mix it up with the guys.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, I'd never wrestle. I mean, my last match was I wrestled. Well, nobody knows if Crashella is a girl or a guy. We all wonder, but none of us say anything. But we all know that Petrov is a guy, so there's that.
Okay.
I guess, except for when he's in his singlet because he thinks he's a girl because it's got a female body painted on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a whole other topic for.
That's another topic for another day.
Yeah, the whole gender confusion, Caitlyn Jenner shit, whatever. But okay, anyway.
Oh no, he did it because he wanted to be the ladies' champ. So he challenged me.
Okay.
And he said, well, you know what? Because the man likes to wear dresses, obviously. He lost a competition match, and he had to wear a dress and be a waitress in a dress for a day. And I think that he really, really enjoyed it. So he went and he got himself a singlet with a lady's figure on it. And, I humored him and let him wrestle, and I shouldn't have let him win the first time, but I got my belt back, so it don't matter.
Okay. Nice. All right. Okay. At one time, I heard the thing you said, 3-time undefeated champion. What was that?
3-time ladies undefeated champion. That's right. I've never been defeated. I've held that title 3 different times. And I've never been defeated. Never actually been in the ring, pinned 1, 2, 3 to have my title taken away from me.
Nice.
Never.
So, was there any injuries or anything?
Who, me?
Besides, you mentioned the concussion before, but if you haven't been beaten.
Well, I've never been beaten to the point somebody took my title away. No.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we've got all bumps and bruises. They're not, definitely listen to the what is that? The sentence, don't try this at home.
Yeah. I think they say that because they have to cover their ass, but no one damn well.
Oh, yeah, they say, I'd say it too if I had to cover my ass with billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I did have a wrestling match with Mary Jane Payne where a very simple move went wrong, and she dislocated my rotary cuff and broke my clavicle, my collarbone. But out of all the years that I've wrestled, where's wood? Hold on, let me knock on wood here. That's the only injury I've gotten.
Okay.
I've had an absolute great trainer who taught me how to protect myself.
Right.
And that other person.
Right. So
they're very little injuries that I've given other people. In fact, I don't think anybody besides Casey Spinelli, because I broke her pinky, can say I hurt them.
Oh man. Was it like, oh come on, really? Like, are you serious? A pinky?
Yeah, I broke her pinky. I did a drop toe hold, and she smacked her pinky into the rope. Sorry about that.
Oh.
I was just trying to win.
Right. Well, just freak accidents. It happens.
Yeah.
Could have been like, oh, I broke a nail and match is over now. You don't want that.
Yeah.
But, okay, have you ever wrestled under any different names besides Sunny Daze?
No. In my whole career, it's always been Sunny Daze.
Nice.
Sunny Daze.
Yeah, that's important.
I've had somebody tell me that Princess de Dome Essam that shows up at BCW once in a while looks like me, but it is not me.
Okay.
She's taller than I am.
Okay. Now, how different is your character from your everyday self?
How different? Oh, man, she's not, I don't know, I would say she's more gullible.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. She's pretty. I'd be your friend. Let's just put it that way. I like being around her because she's happy. She always got something nice to say. She's positive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's a little spitfire. She's a Southern belle that'll give you hell, and you better watch it. Otherwise, she'll make you look like a 10-pound bag of stupid.
Nice. Okay. I was reading a thing too. You were a valet for a match Al Snow was involved in. It was like Sonny Siaki working for.
Yeah, I was Austin Lane's valet. Sonny Siaki versus Austin Lane, and Al Snow was on that match too.
Nice.
That was the first show that I did with Al Snow. The second one was at the AW in McMinnville, Oregon.
Okay. And well, like, you want to talk about that experience a little bit, like, because obviously everybody knows Al Snow and.
Yeah, everybody knows Al Snow. He was a nice guy. He was very intellectual. He was very down to earth backstage, but you could tell, man, when he's got a match, he is so focused on that match, and that's all he's focused on. Period.
Right.
You know, it's like, and it's fun to see how he turns into his character, his gimmick. I loved it. It was nice. It was an eye opener.
Okay. You mentioned earlier too working for TCW.
Yeah, TCW in Tulalip, Washington.
Okay. And what does TCW stand for?
Tulalip Championship Wrestling.
Makes sense.
But the owner no longer works for the TCW company. He has a new company called Woodland Pro.
Okay.
Yeah, which is in Woodland, Washington.
And you're still affiliated with that, obviously?
Yeah, if he ever calls me and I bug him enough.
Okay. Okay. I also saw, did you do some work with the NWA?
NWA, I am actually very affiliated with the NWA, working through BCW, Blue Collar Wrestling, in Portland, Oregon. We have a show every week. Show starts at 6. Show starts at 6. Doors open at 5:30, and I'm there every other weekend on Sundays.
Nice, okay. And talk a little bit
about... Gotta represent for the NWA, you know,
definitely.
BJ Darden and Buddy Highway and Tony Stetson, you know. For some reason, they all forget about that female talent, but that's okay. The NWA doesn't forget me, so it's all good.
That's all that matters, right?
That's right.
And how important is that to have, like your promotions you're affiliated with, like, kind of close to home like that?
I was taught that you should have 1 or 2 home promotions that you call home. I'm fortunate enough to have 1 or 2 promotions that I call home. One of them is BCW. The other one is Northwest Pro, and the third one is the Quamish Championship Wrestling. They're all local here, and they're also, let's see, which one is, Northwest Pro is on Fizzy TV. NWA is actually getting something hooked up to where they're on a local channel as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, have you ever worked different countries?
No, not yet. Just Canada.
Oh, okay.
For Girls Gone Wrestling. I do have my sights set on ECCW
That's Canada too, right?
I'm sorry, what? Yeah, that's in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someday I'd like to go wrestle in Germany.
Any reason? Germany or just because?
Germany.
Just because, or there's something over?
Oh man, they've got a beautiful women's division up there, and they all believe in strong style.
Nice.
So I figured I'd be in my element.
Right.
Little fish, big sea. Instead of big fish, little pond.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of see this area as my little pond right now. So, but more along my timelines, I'm really striving to maybe get my name to I don't know, Indiana, maybe go up to Alaska, check out California. I've got a booking coming up in where is it? ASWF. I just haven't figured out the dates yet, so I can't say anything.
Okay.
I've really stepped it up this year. I figured I might as well do it. If I'm going to do it, let's do it right. And here I am bugging you.
Hey, that's great. Now, would you? I saw another picture too on your Facebook. I think it was you and Marty Jannetty.
Oh yeah, I did a seminar with Marty Jannetty.
Nice.
We did there was a seminar at Blue Collar Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
They really, BCW is very unique. They really care about their staff. So they like to bring people in to do seminars, and so that way everybody can see a little bit, and have somebody to give them answers to their questions and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Marty Jannetty was pretty cool. He was a really good guy that quite honestly couldn't keep his hands off of me, so I ended up slapping him once. But that's okay. It's okay. It only took him once.
Marty. Okay. Well,
good guy, though.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. I wanted to mention your video on Facebook. I saw the Piper Palooza.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, you like my Piper Palooza video?
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad. I still haven't caught that daggone person who had my stop sign. My stop sign magically showed up on my deck the next morning, so there's no trace.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't seen it, check out her Facebook. It's hilarious. She's trying to cut a promo. The whole.
I just wanted to go for a walk,
yeah.
And I figured, well, I'm going to go to Piper Palooza. Kevin Sullivan's going to be there, dear friend of mine, and let's just cut this promo. I don't know if you noticed, but I tried going different places every single spot, and I don't know who that crazy person was, but they sure didn't want me to tell anybody about Piper Palooza.
Every time, yeah. That was great.
Made me laugh.
Well, how many, was that like a one-take deal, or you did it over and over, or?
A one-take? No, that was not a one-take deal at all.
So how many times did you have to take the stop sign then?
I think I took the stop sign to the face 15 times that day. To the front and to the back of the head a couple times. And, hey, that's just show I went to training, damn it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I just hope he doesn't have a caution cone or something next time. One of those big ones.
Is there going to be any more videos?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Sunny Daze is not through yet. I'm just not at BCW this weekend. I'm taking the weekend off to talk to you and to go play at the Forest Festival here in Washington.
Wait, you mean there's life outside of wrestling? What? No, I'm kidding.
What? I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a festival, a fair. There might be a wrestling show there. Maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
I'll be looking around going, where's the wrestling show at?
Yeah,
I need wrestling.
Right. Yeah.
Then I'll go home all sad.
Yeah.
And then I'll just have to play wrestling instead.
Yeah, there you go. what is this real life you speak of?
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no clue.
Okay.
I haven't figured that part out yet.
A couple more questions. We're winding down a little bit here. If you weren't wrestling, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't wrestling, what would I be doing? I would be I would be at the gym.
Okay. Well, yeah, you mentioned personal trainer. You mentioned that.
What?
Yeah.
I would be at the gym. What else would I be doing? I would. Oh shoot! I don't know. I would go down to my lake and I'd go swimming because I live on a lake and it's awesome. You got to keep that nice booty beautiful.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. If you could pick any error that you could get dropped in and say like, I'm gonna start wrestling here, what would it be like?
1991.
Okay.
1991. Right before Triple H became Triple H, or Hunter Hearst Helmsley, because he was what?
Terrorizing?
The Maestro.
Oh, okay.
He was the Maestro, yes.
Okay, so just
Mr. Maestro with his long goldie lock and a curl in the back with the little bow, and of course you got Shawn Michaels. But those guys are great. But reality is, I would say 1990s because Trish Stratus, Lita, Jazz, China, Jacqueline, were all there, and they were absolutely amazing. They are my heroes. You know?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So, kind of piggybacking off of that question, any dream opponent?
Any dream opponent?
Living or dead or current, anything?
Dream opponent. Man, I don't know. Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Miss Elizabeth.
Okay.
Or, yeah. Sensational Sherry, of course.
Nice, yeah. That's a good one.
I'm thinking.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Yeah, hey.
Medusa.
Yeah, that's a good one too, yeah.
Yeah. She was pretty hardcore. Molly Holly when she was in the beginning. But I don't even know what she's doing now, but I always had mad respect for Molly Holly.
Yeah.
But my absolute dream opponent, and please don't hate, China.
Hey, that's awesome. I don't hate.
I always wanted to wrestle China.
I respect the hell out of that. She got such a bad rap. Been waiting.
She did, and you know the way she went out shouldn't have been the way she went out.
Yeah.
She made some bad choices and she did some bad things, but don't we all? Yeah, she put it on blast, and she made a lot of money doing it. But you know, honestly.
I guess it's all relative the way you look at it. You could call it bad things, but look at it as she's making a living for herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she was making a living for herself, but you know, she was also drinking herself to death.
Yeah.
And I think what was really sad is that, but right before she had OD'd, she announced that she was getting ready to do a book tour for a new book and a reality TV show. Which I was super excited about hearing.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, 2-3 weeks go by, and lo and behold, she's dead. And I'm sitting there going, no way!
Yeah, I couldn't believe it either, yeah. It's one of those things, like, you just wish... Because I don't know if you saw it, she posted a video, like, her agent was on the phone with WWE, and she was, like, I guess, asking to speak to Triple H, and the agent was like, or the person there on the phone was like, we can't give him messages from you. So,
yeah.
It was like,
well, I mean, seriously, you know what? Here's how I feel about that. She was in love with him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And he trampled on her heart with the one woman that he could get away with it, and nobody ever say anything.
Yep.
So, you know, I mean, if he's happy, great. I'm glad. I just really wish that China would have had, you know, a better guy friend to tell her how much more worth she is, even if he didn't see it.
Absolutely,
you know?
Yeah. And
part of me was like, man, if I was her friend, she wouldn't have committed suicide.
Right. Well, I mean, do you feel she'll be in the Hall of Fame?
I wish and I hope that she would be. She is the ninth wonder of the world. and she was a absolutely fantastic wrestler. She was beautiful in her bodybuilding competitions. You know, we all make mistakes, but reality is, I honestly think that she earned her spot.
Yeah.
She earned her spot.
Absolutely.
You know, just like Ultimate Warrior, he earned his spot.
Yeah.
Bam, Hall of Fame, finally. I mean, it sucks that he died afterwards, but...
Yeah. It's shitty because it's more politics than anything, you know what I mean?
It is. And, you know, honestly, if I just spend the rest of my career in the indies and just have a lot of good, great matches and meet a lot of people, then my life will be complete.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just love wrestling.
Definitely. Okay.
I love doing it. I love bringing it to people. I love watching it. I love it. All of it.
Right. That's the way it should be. If you can't be in something if your heart's not in it, if you're not behind it 100%, then what are you really doing?
Yeah, I was always taught that if you don't love it anymore, you don't like it, you don't love it, you don't have passion for it, don't do it.
Yeah, you shouldn't be in it then, yeah.
Period. Yeah. But if you are going to do it, follow the 6 Ps.
Go ahead.
Proper planning prevents piss poor performance.
I never heard that one. That's good.
Oh, those are the 6 Ps.
Okay.
Al Snow gave that.
Nice.
Yeah. Proper performance. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. The 6 Ps.
Okay. I'll have to write that down.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
It's a Sunni Dazeism.
There we go. Hashtag
I'm stealing that, Al Snow.
There you go. Trademark. All right. Any short-term or long-term goals?
Short-term goals, like to be on TV, like to meet Jeff Jarrett someday, like to work for Global Force Wrestling.
Hey, guess what? I'm going there tomorrow, Global Force Wrestling.
Yeah, well, tell him, this awesome Southern belle that really would like to wrestle with any girls that he could. He could find.
I'm gonna get his ear for maybe like 2 minutes, so I'll try to throw that in.
I'm kidding. No. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding, honey.
I know.
You go on with your bad self and promote yourself. Get it.
I'll try.
Okay, good.
But go ahead. Short term, long term.
Long-term goal, like I said, maybe someday having my own training studio and everything. Short-term goal, would love to work for bigger companies. Mm-hmm. Would love to work for New Japan if I could. Would love to work for TNA. Mm-hmm. Long-term goal, though, is to work for TNA because they have such a huge women's division. Mm-hmm. I want to work for them. I want to work with them.
Right. I was gonna say NXT, kind of their women's division.
Their women's division is getting pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of names coming in.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, short term, I'd like to work for Shine. I'd like to work for Shimmer. Long term, I'd like to be considered one of the top female wrestler talent to go and train under. Mm-hmm. Someday.
All right.
Someday.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff I can do in the next 10 years, so I'm pretty stoked about it.
Okay, so you give yourself like a 10-year period to
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Well, any good business person will do that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Write down a 10-year outline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of what they want to accomplish.
Yeah, and you've been 10 years in now, so.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've gotten to work shows with Al Snow. I've worked, Mick Foley. He was awesome, by the way. He was my favorite person I've met so far.
I've always heard he was a nice guy.
Yeah, he is so fun. He's so funny. Marty Jannetty, I got to meet Chaz Taylor. Soraya Knight, did a great seminar with her.
I love her,
and a great training. Oh my gosh, she kicked my ass. I loved it. It was wonderful.
She's a badass.
Yeah, and, she was like, I can't believe it, I'm teaching a bunch of American English wrestling, and I just thought that was great. I'm sitting here just writing things down. I'm like, man, I'm on a cloud 9, During the training, I remember one time, it was me and one other guy, and and this guy didn't really want to wrestle with me because I'm a girl, and she was like, you need to get over yourselves. You are going to wrestle girls, and girls are going to wrestle you. If all you got to do is get rid of those balls to wrestle that person, then chop them off. She was mean.
Yes. Yes.
In a good way. In a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, she's
But yeah,
awesome.
I've met so many great people.
Mm-hmm.
So many. Some of them, you know, some of them were more opinionated than others. I got to meet a lot of great people on Girls Gone Wrestling. I hope to meet them again. I just want to be in wrestling forever.
Yeah, hey. There's always something to do. You can always go back to announcing.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe. You know, my ultimate long-term goal, though, I would love to work for WWE their gear and sewing.
Okay.
Not wrestling.
Oh,
yeah, I'd like to work in their seamstress room.
Yeah.
That's where I would like to go.
That's a whole nother division in itself.
Yeah, it is, but you're talking to a lady who likes that kind of stuff.
That's awesome, yeah. There's always a market for that.
Yeah, there is always a market for that, especially if you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I have to mention your booking agent, because if I don't, he'll kill me.
Oh my gosh, Sean Patrick Mullen. You better get a hold of him if you want me to come to your show and shine on it. Let's have some sunny days all over this country, shall we now? The best way to get to him is Sean Patrick Mullen. I don't have his phone number. You do, though.
I do.
I'm not looking at it right now.
I can't. I don't know if he wants me to give it out to the world, but he does have a website, and Extreme Pro Wrestlers. You could look him up, all that good stuff. Do you want to throw out your social media plugs?
My social media plug? Well, on Facebook, you can hit me up at Sunny Daze, all just one word, SUNNIDAZE. Also on Instagram at StormyNights_13. I also have a Twitter, Sunny Daze, Sunny_Daze1313. On Twitter, you can check out my new webpage. It's sunnydaze.org, which will be up and running very soon. But the best way to get a hold of me is through Sean Patrick Mullen.
There it is. Alrighty, I want to thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It was my pleasure.
Alright, that was my conversation with Sunny Daze. I want to thank her once again for being on. And I'll say it again, the ECWF Women's Champion. That's right. Thank you to Sean Patrick Mullen, her booking agent, for setting that up. He's the ECW Heavyweight Champion, if you will. He's really been the champion of this, promoting it everywhere for me and getting the word out, helping me out. So I really appreciate that. Appreciate Sunny Daze coming on. I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. Make sure you guys check her out on all our social media stuff, and up in the Northwest there, check her out. Make sure you go support her. And I will catch you guys on the next one.
With a sweet spouse, got a pretty mouth and a good jaw, give me good brain. What's the wood grain? I want no cum stain. Bitch, you listening? Trying to turn me down? That's what I'm talking to you. Turn me back up. Are you insane?